Hi there, guys. So we're now in 2021, which is hopefully going to be an exciting year for all of us as we change over from what was 2020. And it's also sort of exciting for me in the sense of I'm starting a new project, and not only that, but starting it in a new scale, like the title suggests. So before I go on to the models, I just wanted to give a bit of a brief history behind my avenue into this project and the project itself, and of sort of the significance of it. So it all starts, I suppose, with this book. So theoretically, all of Sharp's battles are important. I mean, they're certainly important to Sharp, aren't they? But some of them are more important. And one of them is in this book, Talavera. And as you know, that is where my 28mm Napoleonics is set. You know, the the German division at Talavera. So that's a very important battle, but it's not just an important battle for Sharp. This is also a very important battle for Wellington as well. This is his lightning strike into Spain. This is his success, and then it's his his first major assault on the French outside of Portugal. So it's a very important battle in that, and certainly if you read the books about Talavera that people have written, there's a lot of learning points that were taken away by the British Army and Wellington himself about how to fight battles. So it's very important in that sense. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about a different battle, another battle that's important for both Sharp and for Wellington, and that's in this book. So this is part of what I call the India trilogy, which is the 3 books that Bernard Cornwell wrote about Sharp in India, and this one is the book that contains the Battle of Assaye. So in this battle, this is the one where Sharp supposedly saves Wellington's life, which is apparently based on a real event where he was dishorsed, and there's a bit of mystery about how he survived that. But this is the Battle of Assaye in 1803, and this is another one that's important for Wellington as a general, because it's really his first major battle in command of so many troops in this battle sort of thing, and certainly his role in the Second Anglo Maratha War is the one that along with patronage of his brother, allowed him to become such a successful commander, and in a way allowed him to fight for the ability to fight in the peninsula. So it's that sort of importance there. And the reason it interests me, and let's put down some more factual books, is the fact that the battle is so small. As far as Napoleonic battles are concerned, you're usually talking sort of thousands, tens of thousands of soldiers, whereas the entirety of the British troops in this battle, I don't think exceed more than 7,000. Let me just... bear with me. I'm just trying to find something. Sorry, back again. I was trying to find the right page. So as you can see from this map of the battle, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 British infantry regiments. One major, the Pickets of the Day, which of course is drawn from all the different regiments, and then some cavalry and some cannon. And then on the Maharata side, there's a large swarm of soldiers. They reckoned about 100 odd cannon, and of course their own cavalry as well. So it's an interesting battle in that sense, in the fact it's quite small. Accounts of it suggest that Wellington was basically still working as like a divisional commander, running back and forth, giving individual officers individual orders, which means it'll be quite interesting to play out because there's less independent command, and it's a battle that certainly inspires a great painting scheme, as there is the majority of the army is by these guys, the Indian sepoys or sepoys, who were British in a sense that they were under the control of the Honourable Trading Company of the East Indies, or the East India Company as it later became. And again, that interests me in the fact that it's basically a private army, because it's not under the crown. It's paid for by a company, a trading company. It's sort of like the first international security force, and it's interesting to look at the power of such a company had when it came to things. That's my notes there. You're not interested in those. Interested in things like that. So the two main books I'm using for reference for this are the Assaye one about Assaye, and then Wellington, the British Army's India campaigns. I do have another book coming about Wellington in India, but that is still on its way in the post, and according to this book by Martin Howard, a little dated now, so I'm not sure if that's going to be a massive reference to me. Oh, I do apologise, massive dry throat. And some of the other interesting is the lack of information of the period. So a lot of the contemporary paintings have notes and annotations saying that they're wrong, even of the British troops. So they say, oh, this picture denotes this, but that regiment wasn't there, or it denotes this regiment wearing this, but that uniform didn't come until like 2 years later. So there's a lot of inaccuracies within the paintings and stuff. So when you're a painter like us, you rely on those plates and paintings to get some sense about what things look like. And there seems to be practically no information that I can find on what the Maratha troops wore, except for in the book by Martin Howard, where he says, I don't know the exact quote, but he says that a eyewitness says that they basically wore the same uniform as the British soldiers. I don't know if I can find it. But basically it sounds like they were so inspired by the British sepoys and the British that they adopted the same uniforms, in the sense that they would be able to fight as well as them. That's just the regular infantry. Obviously, you've still got the very bright, colourful infantry of the irregulars, who used whatever came to hand and were basically a militia force. But there doesn't seem to have been any irregular infantry at Assaye. Certainly on the battlefield. I think there were some maybe in the village, but there weren't any in the battle itself. Now, this is just a very brief introduction to this and why I'm interested in it and why I want to do the battle. But I don't want to do another 28mm army. You've seen how long it's taken me just to paint up one division for the campaign in Talavera. Doing two sides of a small battle in that scale would take me to my deathbed, and certainly to debtor's jail. So what I decided instead was just the fact that I'm going to go for 6mm. Unfortunately, at the time of recording this, most of those figures are in a box behind a whole load of Christmas decorations, so I can't bring them out exactly right now. but I do have the entirety of the British force now. But what I do have is my test piece here. So these are 6mm Highlanders. And as you can see, they're wearing kilts. Now, one of the things I was talking about just now was inaccuracies, and one of those is the idea that the Scots were there in their kilts, whereas actually some of the contemporary information is that they changed to linen trousers because kilts were wool, heavy, quite sweaty, whereas linen trousers were breathable, light and stuff. I know it seems contradictory, but that's the way that fabric works. But I thought this is probably the only time I'm going to do Highlanders. I'm doing them in kilts, and it's my army, and that's what I'm doing. Plus, I feel that helped donate them slightly from the other forces. Please focus. Thank you. That are going to be on the battlefield, especially as their command will have bagpipes and stuff like that. So the miniatures are from Irregular Miniatures. They are the only people I found that did a nice range of Indian sepoys for the period. They actually have a whole 6mm British in India range, which goes all the way up from Tipu Sultan in 1797, all the way through to the later mutinies and change over to the Indian Army. So that's the project coming up, guys. I'm going to try to do a little bit of history with each video and include stuff to just make it a bit more interesting rather than me just flashing some 6mm figures in front of you as I go through it. My ambition is to certainly start on them very soon. I've got some other stuff just to finish off first and go through them. They're going to be based up single bases per regiment. They won't be based up in companies or anything like that, because for 6mm I've done it for my 10mm elves because that's how the rule set works, but I don't want to do it for 6mm. 10mm was difficult enough to do it. 6 and the bases were tiny. 6mm, I think it'd just be ridiculous. So I'm going to take a book out of a page out of Stephen Smith's book, do singular basing, and I'm just going to see if I can get some tokens made by one of these MDF companies, maybe war bases, saying a column, attack column, etc., which I'll put beside the regiments as they do the various formations. So guys, that's my new project. I hope that you managed to stay with me through that. I'm trying to keep this under 15 minutes because my Wi-Fi is rubbish, and if I do anything more than 15 minutes, it just won't upload. So, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.